Breaking the Wall Between Science, Art and Community. Thomas Soares Mullen. Champalimo Foundation, Portugal.
Thank you. Before talking about the wall I'd like to break, I would like to talk a bit about the journey and how I frequently bashed my head on this wall. When I was younger, I went to a state school and was fortunate enough to have enthusiastic science teachers that encouraged me to pursue science. And as you can see, this school is very diverse. However, during my degree, this wasn't the case, and it persisted during my PhD. So how can we change this? Well, we know that informal learning, such as science outreach, genuinely encourages children to pursue STEM careers. But there's a problem. Typically, science outreach attracts those who already have the scientific resources. So we're not getting those or reaching those that need the engagement, just reinforcing the existing inequalities. This is what Science on the Wall does. Science on the Wall is a project that encourages children's curiosity in STEM, using art as a medium. We're based on 4 key pillars. We're science-themed, where we have a scientific objective, and we use art to convey that. We're culturally relevant. We listen to what the community's interests are and what their identity is, and we use that to shape the scientific activities. We're community integrated. We work with local professionals, musicians, artists to help produce these activities. And finally, we're location-based. We don't expect them to come to us, we go directly to the location. This project started in Cova de Moura, a neighborhood in the peripheries of Lisbon, where the majority of the people have Cape Verdean heritage and unfortunately face a lot of racial and socio-economical marginalization. Over the 4 years, we've worked with neighborhood associations and after-school clubs and have created over 24 activities. And having measured before and after our activities, we generally see an increase in STEM engagement. Many of our activities have a focus on sustainability in the environment. To highlight on a few examples, we've worked with local wind energy startup producer, Anthony Santos, and it's important to provide visibility to role models in the neighborhood. We've also done social neighborhood exchanges, working with Ecolista, who did litter picking in the neighborhood. And then we hosted a fashion show for the children with the upcycled litter. And finally, we've recruited biologists and ecologists to provide activities and engagement about the environment. They've also installed compost piles within the neighborhood. Each one of our workshops aren't just science, but they leave something tangible, be it screen-printed bags to take home or art murals like this one. They aren't just science activities, but they're sources of scientific pride, empowerment, and storytelling. But our impact extends beyond these examples. Over the years, we built a network within Cova de Moura, within Lisbon, and even beyond. In fact, we've learned that we have to be consistent with our scope. And often, we have to transfer opportunities. For example, when the British Council reached out to us, providing English lessons, that's not science, but we were able to create synergies and partner with other associations. We've also realized the importance of community ownership. When the community have a stake in Science on the Wall, the impact's far greater, be it with locations that are familiar, locals that are teaching. And finally, most importantly, is looking at the scalability and the growth. Having reflected on that, we've done most of this on low budget, low costs. And over the years, we've refined protocols to show how we can implement events in a sustainable manner. In fact, this made us aware that the way to produce Science on the Wall is making this a science outreach model open source, so other people can adopt Science on the Wall in their community with other scientists, building a global network of Science on the Wall. Because after all, we're not just breaking the walls between science and underserved communities. We're breaking the walls to ensure that in this scientific transformation is driven by diverse voices that reflects everybody's needs. Thank you.
So we're going to start with Melanie. Yeah, I know it's surprising, but you're not fast enough today. Thank you. That was a really nice presentation and an interesting project. I just wondered if you could say a bit more about the impact that this has had on the individuals in the community and some numbers of what's happened to things and people.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, it's had a massive impact. Like, it started off with just a few PhD students talking to a local musician about the neighborhood. And originally we started off in our after-school club with maybe like 5 or 6 children. But the word spreads, and children talk to their friends and family that live in the neighborhood. And after that, the network grown. In terms of statistics, we started taking evaluations and recording how many times children have continued to come. And in fact, we know that 84% of students remember activities lasting over 3 months and 64 over 6 months. We did this by asking them to recall things that they learnt from previous events that they've attended. Thank you.
Another question? Mario, I think.
Can you tell us more about the disciplines you have been bringing to this community, science-wise or humanities-wise?
Yeah, so they're mostly science-based. And we've actually done a range of science themes. What's really important is that's not just scientists imposing themselves in the community. We actually have people from the community that are part of our core team. So before we talk with them and we go to the after-school clubs and associations and we brainstorm, we discuss what interests you in science as like an initiation point. And then after that, we will then brainstorm more ideas and we'll think about other professionals, musicians, or dancers that can be involved with our activities. And some of the themes have been health and well-being. So this summer we did a workshop all on movement. So we worked with there's a type of dance called Fanana, music Fanana, and we worked with members in there to help, present that. And then we talked about the science of locomotor control to the kids in a more informal way, of course. We've also done sustainability with like energy of the sun being a source and stuff. So yeah, thank you.
Quite an interesting approach. I've done a similar project on street art at biomedical science, and I'm willing to learn from you because measuring art is quite complex. I understand the impact that you might have on those who are participating, most especially the children. On the other hand, there's another variable, which is the public audience. I don't know if you've got any insight in how the art affects them and all that. I'm willing to learn from you, as I said.
Yeah, that's a great question. Because there's many different depths of impact and evaluation. I think, we have looked at the number of people that have attended our events. And, if it's events that we've directly started, it will be in the order of 300 plus. However, if it's events that we've collaborated in, there'll be a few times people would have reached us, and it would be in the order of 1,000. But I think it goes beyond that. For instance, when you have murals in the neighborhood, that's for the public, and children can walk past that and say, "I made that," and share that story to their families or their friends in the neighborhood. There's a sense of permanence there, and I agree. That's hard to measure, but I guess it's timeless.
One more? Yeah, wait, here, please, Ibrahim.
Yeah, quickly. And one thing that I've realized that it's not just that, it also has to do with, for example, in my experience, it's the number of selfies, music videos done using that, mural. I mean, it's one thing that we've been able to measure, but it would happen later on when the project is over. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a nice idea. I like that, how using social media to see the views, how that reaches out to the wider public. So yeah, thank you.
So, here, sorry.
Sorry.
The mic, yeah.
Thank you. This was an interesting project. I wonder how, and if I remember right from the description, you're mostly younger scientists approaching the community. What do you think? Does it play a role? How important it is? Do you relate more to the community being younger instead of this, senior expert?
One more.
Yeah, so the core team that are part of Science on the Wall are PhD students. But we collaborate we recruit other volunteer scientists that are more senior, more mature. And we've done a few away days where they've come to Champalimaud Foundation and actually met experts, professors, and I had that opportunity to really ask professionals and have that.
Stop. Thank you. Well done.